Singapore stock market is breaking out to new highs, and this rally might just be getting started. With billions of dollars in fresh capital flowing in, and a powerful rotation out of the overpriced banks into some of those overlooked gems, the small caps, the mid caps, there's a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. In this video, I'll review to you 5 high potential Singapore stocks that could ride the next wave up, even though they have pushed up a little. And trust me, you want to see how the charts are looking before the rest of the market catches on. We got some really good bullish signals on them. There could be more upside. Let's go. So just want to run through very quickly, why are we seeing strength in the Singapore market over the past few weeks? Well, essentially, there's this news that came out, right? $1.1 billion allocated to 3 fund managers to boost the Singapore stock market. And it was announced by MAS. So MAS has appointed Avanda Investment Management, Fullerton Fund Management, and JP Morgan Asset Management as part of his $5 billion program, right? Aiming to boost Singapore equities, right? So he has allocated some funds to these fund management firms, right? And that's where these fund management firms will have to invest in Singapore equities or Singapore stocks. And that's where he has created a lot of liquidity, a lot of bullish sentiment, a lot of funds coming back into the Singapore market as well. MAS will also allocate $50 million to enhance the equity research, right? And listing support through the GEM scheme, right? And extending it to 2028. Increasing funding for research reports and ETF. So this is to create a lot of awareness, right, on Singapore stocks by analysts write about it, buy calls being made, target prices being made, and that will create more investors' interest or more traders' activity as well. So MAS Deputy Chairman Chee Hong Tat said that it is not just about injecting funds into the Singapore market, right, but developing the fund management industry. And at the same time, they also want these asset managers to be able to crowd in new private capital, right? And to be able to then, promote greater interest, right? And more liquidity into this Singapore equities, especially our small to mid-cap companies. So that's the reason why, over the past few weeks, I've been seeing a lot of strength in many of those small caps, mid-cap, many of those stocks we have shared with our clients in Phillip Securities. They've gone up higher. The banks are, kind of like a little bit of a laggard, and the rest of the mid to small caps are playing catch up. So the $1.1 billion forms part of the $5 billion set aside under the equity market development program announced by MAS in February. So all this is aimed as, boosting SGX listed stocks and kind of like, revitalizing the entire Singapore stock market. And that seems to be happening right now. In terms of equity research, well, they set aside $50 million, all right? And basically this equity research can facilitate price discovery and fair valuation of companies, right? Allowing investors to make informed and timely decisions. So, more analysts covering certain stocks with target prices, with fundamental reasons why they like it. That will definitely create more interest. So MAS will also provide new funding to support research on private companies, right, with strong local presence. So that's the reason why we're seeing a lot of strength in the Singapore stock market, I would say, over the past few weeks, right, with funds being injected into the Singapore market, more liquidity, and also MAS kind of like strengthening equity research as well. So now let's dive into the Singapore Straits Times Index very quickly, right, to see where are we right now. Are we pushing higher? What are some of the new targets that can play out over the next few weeks? Let's go. STI right now 4,264. So I talked about the STI over the past weeks. Well, we have broken a very key psychological resistance level, and that would be the 4,000 level. Early of July, look at this right over here, early of July, we broke this level. I mentioned that there could be more upside, especially if the short-term trend turning up as well. Look at the green line that was going up, flat a little bit, and as we broke the 4,000 psychological resistance, the green 20 days moving average line that represents the short-term trend has sloped up even more. All right, it seems like we are approaching the next resistance, maybe around the 4,300 level. So it looks really bullish. Look at this, right? Over the past 2 weeks, every single day we are forming higher highs, higher lows, each bullish candlesticks forming as we move higher as well. So I think the market is looking really bullish. However, it has gone up a little bit too far. So there might be some profit taking along the way. I think that's healthy, right? We don't want it to just go up every single day. I think sometimes along the way, if we can see some consolidation, like for example, now is 4263. So if we can see a little bit of a consolidation, maybe, above the higher 4,200 support level. So maybe right over here, right? Past 3-4 days, we've been holding above 4,200. So you can see some consolidation from 4,200 to 4,300 for 1 or 2 weeks, and then attempting to push even higher. I think that would be more sustainable, right? It would be healthier, a healthier uptrend for the entire Singapore market. And you can quickly see that I've turned on, right, my 1GT Pro indicator, whereby in a matter of seconds, right, not just for stocks, but even on the market, right, we can see bullish and bearish signals coming out. So I'm not go too far, but every time we get a bullish signal, that was like in August, there we go, all the way. A couple of bearish signal that was like in April, right? We got a bearish signal when Trump introduced tariffs. We sold down. A week later, we got a new bullish signal on the, let's see what date is it, right? On the 17th of April, all right? And there we go. From 17th April to now, this 1GT bullish signal is still playing out, all right? We have broken the 4,000 psychological resistance. There are still no bearish rate signals, as you can see right now, right? So I think it still looks pretty bullish. And if I can quickly turn on, all right, based on this powerful feature that we have on my 1GT Pro indicator, we have this trailing support line. Let me just show you right over here, turn it on. And there we go, right? From this 1GT bullish signal, a trailing support has popped up. There we go. We followed the market as it moves higher. As it broke 4,000, it started to push up. Same thing. The trailing support also followed it up all the way. And you can see this price, all right now, the index is not just above the 4,200 horizontal support level, but also above the trailing support level. That kind of like give it space to breathe, right? Give it the allowance to hopefully move higher. And if it does, it follows it even more. Does it make sense? So it's still above it. So I think it looks pretty bullish as long as you stay above the horizontal or even above the trailing support level for the entire STI. So let's move on to the 5 Singapore stocks that I want to share with you, all right, whereby you can put in your watch list for potentially more upside. So many of these stocks we actually shared with our clients in Philip Securities by WhatsApp daily. So you want to find out a little bit more, click on the link below the video, find out how you can get some of those ideas daily by WhatsApp for free, all right, at no additional cost, right? But I want to just walk through right now the stocks live, in the video. So the first stock will be this company called Yang Zijiang, YZJ Shipbuilding, one of the stocks that we like, all right? It looks pretty bullish. We have broken a very key resistance level over the past 1 to 2 weeks. So you can see right over here, right? Let me just draw these $2.40. It was a little bit of a resistance. We've been trading below it since February, came down. But then somewhere around like May, well, we got the first 1GT bullish signal coming out. The short-term trend turned up as the green 20 days moving average line started to slope up as well. All right, and we got another bullish signal just coming out last week. And of course, we attempted to break the $2.40 psychological resistance level, whereby we have been trading below for about 4 to 5 months. So not too bad. I think we are attempting to push even higher right now. Maybe a bit of resistance at about $2.60. You can see right over here, a bit of resistance in August all the way to November last year. But if that gives way, I think potentially we may start to see even more upside, right? All the way to the $3, let's say maybe about $3. $3 would be a psychological resistance as well, with some profit taking may come back again, right? So yeah, you can see, right, we got bearish signals coming out in February, down we went all the way, but now after bullish signals appearing, we are kind of like making our way back up. The reversal could be ongoing. The second Singapore stock, Sheng Siong, right? Sheng Siong. Some of you might have shopped at Sheng Siong and do your groceries there every weekend, right? So yeah, that's what we do as well. So let's dive into Sheng Siong right now at about $2.19, right? You can see that for Sheng Siong, the longer term uptrend has been intact since last year. Look at the red 100 days moving average line and the blue line, all right? So very strong upward trend in the longer term. In the short term, well, we were actually consolidating below like the 165 to 170 resistance all the way until in April, right? After the sell down in April, we got a bearish signal. Well, we got a new 1GT bullish signal coming out. So you can see these signals actually turns on and off. I mean, you can turn it on and off from my 1GT Pro indicator right up here. Let's turn it off. Boom, it disappears. Turn it on. All right, it appears. All right, so that's how we have this indicator to guide us on not just this Singapore stocks, but on any stocks, US stocks, Singapore stocks, any markets. in a matter of seconds to get an opinion whether to buy or sell based on the bullish or bearish signal. So we were alerted, all right, to this stock in April just before it really started to rally. You can see right over here on the 17th of April, right, to be exact, 17th of April, we got the first 1GT bullish signal, started to push up, well, consolidated a little bit from 180 to 190, a little bit boring. Then the green line was sloping sideways. But what happens? We got three more bullish 1GT signals, right, coming out. And we kind of like broke the 190 resistance. Let me just show it to you, right over here. We broke the 190 little bit of resistance. We broke through. Finally, kind of like a bullish signal came out, and that was where we really started to rally with the green 20 days moving average line pointing up, right, from sideways to up as well. So I think it looks pretty good, right? Right now, right, of course, it's gone a little bit higher, but I think support would have been higher right now as well. I think support would be around at $2 or maybe even up to $2.10. It seems like today we are attempting to push higher and even attempting to break the $2.20 resistance level, right? So I think it looks pretty bullish too, even though it has gone up by quite a fair bit. We may see some consolidation coming back, maybe from like $2.10 to $2.20. So as it consolidates, it could be a good opportunity to get in on dips as well, all right? And to position yourselves for even more upside, especially if 220 if we give way. I think targets could be revised higher all the way to 240 or maybe even the $2.50. So that could be kind of like the upside targets for Sheng Siong, right? Got bullish signals coming out, uptrend intact in the longer term, and the short term, there are no bearish signals out right now. So why not ride it further? Let's move on to the third stock. So as I say, guys, for these stocks, right, we actually share it with our clients in Philip Securities. So you can get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp daily for free, right? Click on the link below the video. There should be a link somewhere. Find out as to how you can get some of these ideas much faster. My WhatsApp daily, all right? Then the time it takes to do a video like this and publish it and produce it, all right? Ken? So the third stock would be UMS, one of the tech stocks in the Singapore market. So I've covered Franken, right, in my previous top 5 SG stocks video. So I thought, why not? Let's cover UMS right now. One of the stocks that we like since a couple of months back, since May, when we got some really good bullish signals coming out. Look at this, right? So first 1GT bullish signal coming out somewhere around 23rd of April, and then one came out somewhere on the 14th of May, and it started to move even faster and higher, all right? Long-term uptrend intact. In the short term, the green line is pointing up as well. Still looks pretty good. And one of the reasons why I like it is because you can see that UMS has broken a very key psychological resistance. That would be the $1.40 level that we were all the way here in February last year, right? So for about 1.5 years, we're below the 140, and finally, the past 1-2 weeks, have broken the $1.40 resistance level. That would now be a new support level. So let me just turn this red to a green color support level. So I think anything above the $1.40, it looks pretty bullish still. Short-term uptrend intact, and we are even kind of like attempting to break the $1.50 psychological resistance level as well. So I'm not too sure exactly when it will break, but it seems like right now we are testing it. If we can draw another line right over here, so you might consolidate below it for a while. But I can tell you guys, if we break the 150, we go to 151, 152, 153, of course we see some more bullish price actions. That is where targets could be revised even higher to maybe 160 or even 170. Let's move on to stock number 4, and that would be SATS, right? SATS Services. And you can see we are $3.41 right now. So for SATS Services, right, since like beginning of the year or even end of last year, well, it was not that good, right? We had some bearish, signals, coming out, 1GT rate, bearish signals. Of course, the short-term trend turned down. And there we go, right? We just sold all the way down for like $4, all the way to 260. All right, so you want to be patient. You don't want to buy when you see a bearish signal. But then something happened, right? Somewhere around 24th of April to be exact, right? We started to see some signs of stability coming back, some signs of the reversal starting to play out. The green 20 days moving average line that was going down, 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 started to slope up as another confirmation. And now we got another 1GT bullish signal coming out over the past 2 weeks. So I think it looks pretty good. The reversal is ongoing. We have broken what we call a very key level right here. I think around the $3.20. That would be a bit of a resistance, right? Look at this, came down, same thing, came down. Finally, we broke the 320. We got a new 1GT bullish signal, and the green line is turning, from sideways, turning back up. Seems like the reversal is ongoing. We are maybe pushing towards the $3.50. Let's see, maybe about 355, 350. That could potentially be a support, right over here, right? Support. We've broken down previously to a resistance, right? So 355, 360 maybe, right? A bit of resistance over there. Some selling and come back. But I think if those levels give way, targets could be revised even higher as we make our way back to retest the high that we have seen last year, and that would be around the $4 level. So this is set services. We got bullish signals coming out, no bearish signals inside out now. All right, so I think there could still be more leaks to this reversal. Let's move on to stock number 5. All right, whereby these are stocks where you want to put in your watch list for potentially more upside. So if you want to find out, guys, in terms of the entire one good trend strategy, whereby we know exactly when to get in, when to get out, how do we actually maximize our profits along with the trend? Well, you can tap on those free webinars that I'm still running. The link is right below the video. Click on it, register for a free webinar. And this webinar, I'll share with you guys, how do we actually filter out the top 1% of stocks in a matter of seconds, and then not just filtering them out and not knowing what to do, right? But filtering them out and knowing exactly when to buy, and of course when to get out as well when the time comes. All right, so you want to find out more, attend one of those free webinars. Link is below the video. All right, so this is prop next right over here, $1.43, right? So you can see this stock has been in my watch list since last year. In fact, it's been a very strong longer-term uptrend. We got a couple of bullish signals coming out since 2024, September, October. It went up all the way. Well, in April, we got a bearish signal when Trump introduced tariffs. Consolidated a little bit, but what happens, right? Somewhere around June, July, just last month, we had not one, but not two, but three 1GT bullish signals coming out, and we actually broke this very key, I would say, resistance level somewhere around the $1.10, $1.12. Look at this, right? We're just below, right? Selling just came back over the past 5 to 6 months as we neared the 110 level, but finally bullish signals appeared. We broke the 110, and there we go, right? The rally started. The green 20 days moving average line, it was like moving sideways, started to turn up as another confirmation. So now we are like about $1.43, which is slightly higher, but I think right now we may be consolidating at a higher support. So on any dips above this support level, there could still be more leaks, all right, to the upside, whereby we could see maybe a support around the $1.30 all the way to maybe around $1.50 psychological resistance level. All right, so I think this is prop next. Anything above 130, right, that would be a horizontal support that's gone up from like 110 to 120 now to 130. And I can also turn on what I call my trailing support and resistance line based on this powerful feature. You can see that this trailing support that has popped up since June, and it follows prop next as it moves even higher while giving it the space to hopefully move higher, right? It accounts for the volatility. You can see this trailing support is right over here, right? Just around the 130, maybe around 128 to 130, right? So as long as it stays above the trailing support, whereby we account for the space to move higher, it still looks bullish. It still looks bullish. So in fact, on any dips near this horizontal support or trailing support, and we see some bullish reversal candlestick coming out, I think it could be a good opportunity, right, to think about getting in to write even more upside. So there we have it, guys. I've covered the STI very quickly, some of the reasons why we are seeing a lot of strength in the Singapore market, in the mid caps, the small caps over the past few weeks, and of course the top 5 Singapore stocks that you want to put in your watch list for even more upside. All right, so take note of some of the support levels that I mentioned, and maybe the targets whereby some selling can actually come back again. All right, so as I say, right, you have found a little bit more about the entire strategy, take a link below the video, attend one of those free webinars where I share with you guys a bit more on my entire one good trend strategy, and perhaps how you could have a tool or an indicator. I call it the 1GT Pro indicator, whereby it guides us on entry and exit in seconds, right? Without second guessing, without emotions affecting our mindset and all that, that won't happen, right? So click on the link below the video, find out, and find out as to how you can get some of my top ideas daily by WhatsApp for free as a VIP client of mine in Philip Securities as well. Joey here, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.